Welcome to Vaccine Mythbusters. Today we will explore 4 of the most popular myths surrounding vaccines. And these are by no means the only myths existing in media, such as books and internet websites, but in my opinion, they are the most prominent. Number 4 on our list is the myth that vaccines can cause more harm than having the actual disease. Let's investigate pertussis, better known as whooping cough, and the effects of the vaccination. The vaccine itself can cause soreness and redness at the site of injection and a low-grade fever. And in later doses, the 4th or 5th dose, reactions can include fussiness, tiredness, and vomiting in 1 out of 50 children. Some uncommon side effects occurring in approximately 1 in 14,000 or 1 in 16,000 children are seizure, which would be an isolated incidence, or a high fever. Extremely rare instances, and this is less than 1 in 1 million cases, have a severe allergic reaction, long-term seizures, and brain damage. Now, these last incidences are so rare that it is difficult to correlate them to an actual vaccine cause, and they may have been triggered by underlying mechanisms. Now let's look at pertussis, the disease. Whooping cough is highly contagious. Some people never develop the characteristic whoop, which accompanies the attempt to intake air. Infants are not vaccinated until about 4 months of age against this disease, and it can be fatal for them. The infection starts out harmless enough with 1 to 2 weeks of what looks like cold symptoms, with the addition of pauses in breathing. Then comes the second stage, which is characterized by the fits of rapid coughing, vomiting, and exhaustion. This stage lasts for 6 to 10 weeks. The third stage consists of 2 to 3 weeks of recovery, where the coughing fits lessen, and during this time, though, the child is susceptible to other respiratory infections, such as pneumonia. And sometimes it's that secondary infection that will actually be fatal to the child. So the disease being better than the vaccine? Doesn't sound like it to me. I think this myth is busted. Third on our list is the myth that diseases such as measles, mumps, tetanus have been virtually eliminated from the United States. So my child doesn't need to be vaccinated. And certainly high vaccination rates have allowed the U.S. to reduce most of the vaccine-preventable diseases to lower levels. Many of them, however, are still going strong in other countries. Travel to other parts of the world is gaining popularity, and travelers returning to the U.S. are unknowingly bringing back diseases with them. Those who are not vaccinated are at a much higher risk of contracting these diseases when exposed not only to the traveler him or herself, but coming into contact with others who have been in contact with them. There was a recent outbreak of measles in Boston stemming from a professor who had traveled overseas. There is also a lookout for possible cases in New Mexico related to a different traveler who was infected and stopped at 4 major airports, as well as visiting in Washington, D.C. In California in 2010, there was an epidemic of pertussis, causing the deaths of 10 infants. And there are many other outbreaks happening in recent years. The CDC website has more information for you to look at on those. Now, a successful vaccination program depends on the participation of all individuals to be successful in protecting the few who cannot receive vaccines for reasons of allergy to some components of the vaccines, and those with severely compromised immune systems, such as cancer patients. The more vaccinated people surrounding these individuals in their community, the less the diseases will have an opportunity to find a host to live in, and the less chance of these compromised individuals to be infected. This is herd immunity. I'm thinking that myth number 3 has been busted. Number 2 on our list is the myth that giving a child too many vaccinations can overload his or her immune system. First of all, the antibodies a baby gets from its mother only last a few months, and only for select diseases. Vaccines actually stimulate the immune system against other specific diseases with a weakened or killed strain of the virus, which causes the body to acquire a memory for that disease in order to fight it if it's infected with the full-strength live virus. Children are presented with so much bacteria every day in the food that they eat, surfaces they touch, and even in and on their own skin and noses, and are stimulating their immune systems constantly. It is this constant exposure that helps to keep our immune systems strong and able to fight diseases. But in the event of a full onslaught of a virus, our bodies are taxed, and whereas with a vaccine, it is a small number of antigens given for a small response now to hopefully ensure a full and rapid response if it is ever needed. Because our immune system is so terrific at handling these diseases, myth number 2 is busted. The number 1 myth circulating is that the MMR, measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine causes autism. There is absolutely no scientific data to suggest this. Now, Andrew Wakefield, the original source of this scare, has no scientific proof whatsoever of the correlation of the MMR vaccine and autism. His article was rescinded, and his co-authors removed their names from the article before publication due to the lack of credible information. He paid children at his son's birthday party for use of their blood samples. The ethics behind his methods continue to this day, and it bears repeating that subsequent studies were not able to replicate his findings, and in fact, conclusions reject the relationship. I encourage you to look at the CDC and other websites, just such as the World Health Organization, and just kind of research and look at some studies that have actually been done on MMR and autism, and see for yourselves that this is no correlation whatsoever, and that myth number 1 has definitely been busted. If you truly want to be an informed consumer, and most importantly, an informed parent, then you will go straight to the sources who conduct the actual valid research for your information. The Center for Disease Control, known as the CDC, has a comprehensive website to educate and make available any and all information available regarding vaccines and vaccine safety. I definitely urge you to go to the website and order one of their free publications, or you can download 1 or 2 of them at no cost to you to read about vaccine safety. The website is a fountain of good, valid information, and they link you to the actual research articles to back it up. It is important to be cautious about the information you choose to believe, so before you make any decisions regarding your child's health, please make an educated decision and speak to people you can trust, not to nameless, faceless, degreeless websites that present misspelled, grammatically awful, and misinformation, sometimes skewing that information with the goal to mislead. I thank you so much for watching.